Pappy here. I just wanted to let you know this week I've been working on replacing the portion of the trunk pan, trying to drill out spot welds and cut the floor out that's rusted. It's creating quite a noise, so I had to come up with a couple of different ways of doing it without disturbing my neighbors. I've got that sorted out, but I haven't gotten very far with it. I've got to do some spot weld drilling. I tried to drill through with a regular drill bit, and it went all the way through. I got a little carried away, so I'm going to have to weld up a hole. I'll show you that right now. As you can see, the hole I drilled all the way through the brace there. I didn't really want to do that. I want to drill just to that point to release the sheet metal on top. And you can see I got a bunch of jagged, sharp metal here, so I got to be careful not to cut myself up too bad. But that's part of the job, you know, and we're going to just basically cut all of this out right here and fit the new pan in, which is right here. I'll cut out what I need out of it, if you can see it in this dark area here. But we're going to put that in. And as a kid, my older brother, he's 8 years older, he had a 55 Chevrolet. And when he was about 15, my dad and him started restoring it. They went and got an old 55 Chevrolet, and they were putting it together out in the carport. I would watch them, you know, as they did it, and I was always wanting to help, but of course I was only 7 years old and I got in the way. So, you know, but I did watch. They enlisted the help of my uncle, my cousin, to come over and help. They were actually, you know, he had some knowledge, and he came over and helped them get that car put together. And as that went on, my uncle would come over from time to time, and he worked at the local Pontiac dealer. He came home with a brand new, when the Firebirds first came out. It's either 67 or 68. I know the Firebirds came out in 67, but I'm not quite sure, thinking back, which one it was. It could have been a 67 model, but it did have the 400 engine, and it had a 4-speed transmission. And I remember he pulled up in the driveway, and there was a 6-pack of beer laying over the passenger seat, and he came to pick up my dad and wanted to take him for a ride in this car he just got. It was a demo. It was gold. I remember it being gold with black interior, bucket seats. Nice looking car. I mean, it had the tachometer outside on the hood. That's the first time I'd ever seen anything like that as a kid. And I remember playing around inside of it. He had the parking brake set, and they let me get in there and play. It was a level driveway, so they didn't have to worry too much. And I got in there and, you know, shifted the gears around a little bit. I started noticing it had a parking brake handle on one side, and on the other side it had another handle that looked like it, but it said Ram Air. And if I remember right, it opened the doors on the hood. It had 2 hood scoops, and the hood, I guess, sealed to those hood, you know, to the hood scoops. And well, anyway, it meant it had some power. It was a 400, and obviously it had a 4-barrel with a 4-speed transmission. It had the rally wheels on it, and I remember it had the red wall tires. And they took off in that car, and with that 6-pack of beer, and they came back a few minutes later, grinning from ear to ear. And those tires on the back all of a sudden were bald, and there was rubber all down both quarter panels. I'd never seen anything like it. They must have caught the tires on fire. They burned them so bad, but it did spin some tires and smoke some tires going up the road. You know, it got my mom kind of mad at them, but that's just all part of it, I guess. And ever since then, I've been in love with Pontiacs. And a few years later after that, we had moved to a different county, and my mom had a big old Bonneville. Of course, her brother sold it to her. It was a 69 Bonneville. It was 2-door, bright red, with a black vinyl top. Had a 400 high compression engine. I do remember it had that in it. And it also had those rally wheels on it, but it had white wall tires. I remember I got up to about 10 or 11 years old, and they still had the car. And my mom was sweeping the garage out of the house we moved to, and she wanted to move the car out, and I begged her. I said, I know how to drive. Dad showed me, and I did. He had let me put around from time to time, and I was, I guess, about 11, and she didn't really want to do it, but she just wanted to back the car up a little bit, and she says, you just back it right up and stop. And I did exactly that. I cranked it up, and I let it idle for a second, and revved it a couple of times easy, to get it going, set the choke, and had it running. And then I guess the devil got over on me, and I matted that thing to the floor when I put it in reverse, and I smoked both tires going out of that garage, and I put my foot on the brake, stopped, put it up in park, and I shut it off. I knew I was in trouble, but I couldn't wipe that smile off my face, and my mama was beating me over the head with that broom. And ever since then, these Pontiacs have always been in my blood. But I figured I'd just share that with you. But we want to get back on this project here. Hopefully next week. I'm going to try to pull some overtime at work, and I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot done this week. But I just wanted to touch base and let you know where I'm at.